Don't see any hands raised so far, so we'll give it another minute, guys, and we'll get everything started. We'll mute the chat, post all the links, and as always, we're live on YouTube, and towards the second half, you can participate if you have questions or if you're curious about anything. We'll open it up to the community towards the second half.
Yeah, we're just waiting for Ingenito. If you're here, just raise your hands. Okay, if anyone's in from the Bitscrow team, just raise your hand and we'll mute you. I think the speaker today is Ingenito.
Yeah, I also tagged him in our main chat here. I see him. He's joined the chat, but he hasn't joined the VC or raised his hand yet. So we'll give it another minute here, guys.
To make him admin, I think he didn't do the capture or something, so he's been removed.
He's still in the chat. Let me see.
He was in the chat. I was just about to make him admin, but I think he's disappeared again.
Yeah, he didn't complete the captcha. I'm trying to handle it right now.
Okay, I've made him admin now. Ingenito. Hi, Ingenito. How's it going?
Hi, hello everybody. Sorry guys, I was a
It's
little
okay,
bit late. Thank you for hosting me.
no problem. Right, if you're ready, Ingenito, is it just you were speaking to today? I don't need to mute anyone else.
Yeah, sure. So I'm ready. I'm going to introduce the Bitscrow project, and after that, if any of your guys of your community have question or any doubts, I will be more than happy to answer.
Okay, that's great. I'll start the record and introduce you, and we can go straight into the Bitscrow
Yeah,
project. Welcome to the WellCoin Talk community. I'm Glenn, your host. Today we have joining us Bitscrow. Ingenito is speaking for the Bitscrow project. We're going to be talking about the escrow services that are anonymous that they offer, the staking validator pools, um, the token, and the Bitscrow marketplace shortly. But first, can you introduce yourself with your background and experience, Ingenito?
yeah, sure. So hi everybody, my name is Mattia Janito, and I have been a blockchain consultant for multiple companies since 2018. So from my experience, I managed to launch multiple crypto projects before, and we are basically a team actually composed of 5 people. We are all Italian. We are managing the Bitscrow um, project right now, and we have everybody. We have an expertise in the crypto field. For example, we have Giuseppe De Benedetto, which is one of the biggest miner of cryptocurrencies. We have Giuseppe Trifiglio, which is a cybersecurity expert and an ethical hacker. We have Max, which is the developer. He also has been in the crypto field since years ago. He launched multiple staking platform crypto tokens, and then there is finally me. I'm mostly managing the marketing, the listing, access to the exchange, and the technical background operation. So this is the actual team. We are looking for expanded team as soon as possible. We plan to have some physical office in Italy and also in Europe, in Asia, by the end of the 2023. So
Ingenito, yeah. So if you can introduction to our community investors about the Bitscrow project, that'd be great.
yeah, sure. So the Bitscrow is a typical escrow system. We plan to be a completely decentralized and community-based escrow system for helping people to have safe transaction on the internet. So imagine this: we want to create an escrow system that can be used pretty much everywhere. We're going to plan to build the marketplace, internal marketplace of Bitscrow, as well as many integration, for example, Telegram bots or WooCommerce, Shopify plugins for integrating the Bitscrow protection system. So imagine a situation where you want to trade, you want to deal with, I don't know, an unknown and sketchy e-commerce website, or you want to trade with another people on Telegram. um, the Bitscrow system come in handy because it's just a more straight security layer for helping you in doing that transaction. We have the wall system validator system, which basically allow the staking holders of the token to be part of the escrow and the transaction protection by earning commission. So this is pretty much what we want to achieve: a completely decentralized and community-based escrow system.
Okay, great, Ingenito. So if we can go into the goods and services you'll be covering in crypto, are you starting in certain categories and then expanding in the future? So you say freelancers, graphic design developers, marketing, etc.
Yeah, exactly. Mhm.
How does it work on their side? If I'm a freelancer and want to use the escrow platform as a crypto freelancer, what's the charges? Would I need to hold some of the tokens? How does it work for
Yeah, so
freelancers?
basically, we are open to pretty much all the cryptos. We are working on also some cross-chain integration for allowing the swap on multiple tokens, and so it's very easy. The transaction commission is just the rewards going to the validators. So we are just taking the 2% fee for each transaction coming from all the crypto, and 1% transaction if you use the token, the Bitscrow token. This is just for giving another utility case and advantage for the holders. So the whole reward system and the whole internal fee that we are charging is this one for the transaction called in a dispute involving the validators giving the confirmation about the refund or not. This is just the 2% fees that goes to the validators, basically.
And I was looking at, you had an example like Bob and Alice, and Bob was offering a service or goods to Alice on the white paper. But Alice opens a dispute, and I was looking at the end of the sort of how the process works, and she did not receive the goods or services, but you dispute costs Alice 3% for dispute management fees. I was wondering if this is going to put off consumers using the platform, because imagine if Amazon or eBay charge 3%, you didn't receive the goods. How will you work around that?
Oh well, this is something that can happen on almost all the major place where you do transactions online. So the aim of the full scope of this is basically um, providing, basically a sort of job position, giving rewards. We are providing different tiers of holders, becoming the validators, because we want to give a reward for the best holders, and basically giving the biggest transaction. So the 2% of the fee is going to be something very consistent, and that's we want to plan. Mm, I hope it makes sense.
Okay, engineer too. And so you're approaching projects and marketing companies and freelancers. Have you got like scouts out to look to use this platform in the future?
Yeah, well, of course, we will see. As I have been doing it in the past, we are just always open to eventually also create new opportunity and partnership. Who knows?
And you've got the Bitscrow marketplace. Have you got details on that? What's going to be happening for the marketplace for investors?
Yeah, the marketplace will be a platform allowing to do the trade of physical items as well as services, freelancing section, video courses, whatever, and also digital items. Everything is working with the Bitscrow system. So as it was mentioning before, we're going to accept all the crypto. We are going to accept all the integration. You can create a transaction and having a custom link for, I don't know, the Telegram bot as well as the WooCommerce, the WordPress plugin or whatever. So the marketplace will be a decentralized platform as well as its integration for third-party open source solution. So it's going to be pretty much used for all the use case, all the scenario possible.
The escrow service in the marketplace. So you're looking to use stable coins, BUSD or fiat as well, transactions. How will it work?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's going to be set by the people doing the transaction based on crypto or USDT or even the token itself. They can set up a price, and everything is going to be handled through the smart contract. Because the funny thing, let me mention this: the funny thing is that we are handling all the validation and all the reward system through the smart contract itself for each transaction. So everything is going to be stored on chain, and everything can be validated by um, the decentralized community, and that's the main
I see.
goal, the main funny
I
thing.
see,
Yeah.
I see, engineers. And what's the security around? Is it internally a third party that holds the transaction until it's complete? And what's the security built around that?
Well, it's like an escrow system, so it's like a multi-signature. Let's say the validation of the transaction is the final step that is going to allow the release of the funds, of course. Regarding the security you were mentioning, we got the security audit It was carried by CoinScope, which is a crypto agency, is the major partner for Pink Sale or Unicrypt or any some major tokens. So we got the verification. We have the security audit. It's public. We got a percentage of 1999 out of 100. So it's a it's a perfect score for the smart contract. It was made by Max, our developer.
Okay,
So you
great.
can say
And
it's pretty
how does
much.
the BTSC RW token work? What's the distribution with the tokenomics and the buy and sell tax?
Oh well, it's a very plain token. We don't have a crazy tokenomics with deflation or something like this. So imagine it's a plain token. We just end the pre-sale. We carry the pre-sale on Pink Sale. So the total supply is 250 millions. We just end the pre-sale, which was like 10%, and now the trade is public with all the liquidity locked on Pink Sale. We just opened the trade on Pink Sale, but we're planning to have more agreements with some big tiers exchanges. So this is just the starting point. We are going to be on multiple exchanges pretty soon.
Okay, great. And Janita, and you launched on the 28th of September. So I was wondering what's been happening for the first few weeks with the Bitscrow team and community.
Yeah, well, for the moment, we are pushing hard the development of the first release of the marketplace. We are setting up all the integration for funny things, for example, Telegram and stuff. So the roadmap is public on the website as well. We are expecting by the end of the year to have everything ready and pushing the next stage for the year beginning. So as I was mentioning before, we want to have multiple cross-chain integration. We want to have Ethereum, Avalanche, other blockchains, and we are going to have some control center. We plan to have some physical office, some control center as well for the validation system of the escrow as soon as it's required.
Okay, great. And Janita, and how does the staking validators pools work with the APY and the APR? What can investors make from staking and locking the tokens in the staking validator pools?
Yeah, so basically at the moment we have you can visit the public website. We have the first demo of the validation pools. You can find in the link app.bitscrow.site, and you're going to see we have actually offering four different pools for validators. The more token you hold, the better pool you can get in, because it's just a reward for people staking the token inside the platform, and you can earn up to an APY of 150% a year.
That's great. So what's the breakdown of how many tokens you need for each sort of staking validator pool?
Yeah, it's very easy. You just hold the token, you apply for becoming a validator, and then you can just participate in the validation system and just earning this APY for free.
And I was wondering with the escrow services if you've got some sort of uh, bonus scheme for investors and influencers, a referral sort of scheme going to be set up.
Yeah, not really, not yet, because at this point we just opened the pool with limited seats, of course, because we want to reward as much as possible for the early investors. But in the future, we are planning to open new pools, new seats for the validators. So for sure, we can work with some referral system, so influencer can share the links and stuff. I can tell you this: we are working with some influencer. We have a list of potential influencer. We are ready to push the next stage of marketing right now after the pre-sale. So there is a lot coming soon. The referral system can be something that we can make in a second stage, a little bit later on.
see, Engineer. And what's the marketing plans going forward over the next quarter to promote the escrow services and the token as well?
Yeah, we got some deal with some release. We got some mention already online. We are planning to work with some big crypto influencer on Twitter, on TikTok, on YouTube. So we have some initial deal. We are working on that. We are just trying to take the agreements for the next stage, the next exchange, and then we push more volume as soon as everything is ready and the marketing strategy is already completed.
See, Engineer. So, and you mentioned you're looking to go to central exchanges in the future as well. What's the sort of timeline for central exchange listings?
Yeah, exactly. We want to land on some major exchange. We are looking for some opportunity. For example, in my past, um, I was able to list some token on I don't know xt.com or latoken.com, which are some major exchanges. So we're planning to do um, some volumes as well, and just scale the exchanges to be listed pretty much everywhere in a matter of a couple of years.
Great. Let's open it up to the rest of the team if anyone's got a question for
Yeah.
Ingenito. Go ahead.
Yeah, hey Glenn. I was listening in. I'm just curious about a few small things. First off, you were just talking about the validators. Can anybody become a validator, or do you have sort of like a range, or how can people get involved?
No, well, the fact is this, as I was mentioning before, we are just offering some limited seats of validators for the moment, because we want to keep. We are just a new board project, okay? So we're going to launch the marketplace in a couple of months. We are planning to have the first transaction as well in a couple of months. So for the moment, we are just offering a limited number of seats for the validators, and it's very simple. You just are an early investor. You hold some tokens. You can apply. We don't ask for any KYC, so you don't have to go through a verification process. You just automatically become a validator, and this is another thing that we want to keep. We want to keep some anonymous validation with real people, but without stressing with KYC or um, verification process. I mean, we want to
Yeah,
keep everything on chain. As soon as you hold some token, you can participate in the validation, and that's it.
right. Yeah, it makes sense. So more spots will be rolled out in the future. That sounds good. So I was
Mm.
also wondering on the marketplace and about the way that the handout or the delivery will happen, right? So say I sell I don't know, building a website for somebody, right? So do I have to go in the marketplace, kind of break down all the services, and then come to an agreement with somebody else and then move the money, or what's sort of like the process that I have to go through to use the escrow service? Uh,
Well, basically, our smart contract will allow you to operate internally inside the marketplace. Imagine we are going to have multiple sections. For example, you were mentioning a web development service, for example. You can hire developers inside the marketplace. You can buy eventually physical products, and then you can eventually creating a custom link for having this transaction even outside the marketplace itself. So everything will be quite easy. You just move the funds in a typical wallet for that transaction, and everything is going to be managed in the smart contract field. So everything will be pretty automatic and pretty easy to use. We can have multiple service used by that pretty much for all the use case I can imagine.
okay, so say I delivered this services to someone. How does releasing the money work? Does the buyer release the money to me? Is there a third party? Like, do you have a team that's overseeing the process that does it, or is it automatic? How does it work?
Yeah, well, if the buyer basically confirms on the wallet that everything was good, the transaction was legit, and there were no problem, so the funds in that case will be automatically released without any problem. Instead, the buyer eventually can claim a sort of dispute or a sort of problem. Is going to create the validation process. So some validators will be called inside the transaction if they want to participate and if they want to earn rewards for basically providing a solution to the eventual dispute.
Right.
Yeah, we're going to have some team overviewing basically the situation as soon as we have some office. I was mentioning before, we plan to have some physical office with uh, a customer care basically 24/7. So it's going to be by basically the end of the next year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes sense, and that's actually what I was gonna ask next about, like if there's some sort of dispute or arbitration board or anything like that, because some services can be easily quantifiable, right? If I say, yeah, like we were talking earlier, to create a website, well, I can show the website, I can show the work, I can, that's easy to show, but then say I hire somebody to create a happy song or something like that, that's more objective, right? I can then go back and say, oh, it wasn't happy or anything like that. So you would need some sort of system to kind of decide that, look, you're paying for the work, you have to actually, release the money, and you can't go on technicalities and all this sort of stuff. But yeah, it sounds good.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, in the limit of everything has a limitation, of course, and the kind of dispute and stuff can be crazy sometimes. It's just on the limit of what people can see, what kind of information you can provide for, releasing the funds, and then real people will take the decision, the final decision. So I guess it's the most spontaneous and decentralized and real way we can validate a problem or
Hmm.
any case in a
Yeah,
transaction, I guess.
it's understandable. Yeah, and just one more thing for me. I'm wondering if, like, on the platform, will people be able to have like verified users, or maybe the user will get some reviews, and those will be attached to the seller account, or how will that work? Will people be able to determine that this is sort of established seller or a good provider or anything like that?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. We are working on that. Of course, we are going to release the first alpha release of the platform as well, but of course, it's going to be an integration that we're going to add for sure.
Okay, okay, all right. Thank you. Sounds good.
You're welcome.
For the questions out here. And going back to the escrow services, I was wondering in Janito, it's going to be set up as 100% anonymous, no KYC needed. So how are you going to sort of combat criminals and stolen goods being sold on the platform in the future?
Well, it's very hard to have criminals or people that can interact in a particular transaction because imagine everything is going to be public and decentralized. The way we are keeping anonymous is just because, of course, we are not required any document verification or stuff like this. Everything is going to be on the DeFi, on the blockchain world, so it's going to be pretty much automatic and decentralized. As soon as you hold some tokens, you can go in the website and participate in the pools. You can become a validator. You can operate inside the network, and that's it. It's crazy to keep everything centralized and uh, eventually ban people and stuff like this. We want to have everything in the blockchain technological field.
Okay, great, Ingenito. Look, let's open it up to community investor questions. Let's see. Sayed, you had a question for Ingenito at Bitscrow. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Glenn. I have a few questions. So I was going through a white paper, and it's mentioned that two validators are randomly selected based on the category of their staking pool and will be responsible for judging based on the regulations that you will be providing regarding the escrow services. So I want to understand if both the validators reach on a different conclusion after adjudicating on dispute between the seller and the customer, then how will dispute going to be resolved?
Now, okay, in that case, is kind of a multi-level approach. So if two validators cannot find a solution in the first case, of course, we are gonna have another validation process and another review. Everything is going to be overview, as I was mentioning before, by a team as soon as we can set some operational office and some legal entity around the world. But of course, everything is going to be selected and followed on multiple steps if required.
Okay, and how will you make sure that the validator's assessment is completely unbiased and impartial?
What do you mean by that? Like,
I mean, when the validators are judging any case, escrow case, or any dispute, so how will you make sure that these validators are actually providing the assessment on the impartial basis? They are not taking any side of the seller or the customer.
yeah, okay. Well, basically, we are just selecting the validators randomly, so there is no relation between a typical transaction and a specific person that is going to validate that. It's going to be pretty anonymous and distant from the validators. It's just a single transaction where people can provide some proof of the scam or eventually the legitimacy of the transaction. So it's going to be pretty impersonal and pretty easy. It's just a job of giving your opinion about any problem, and is going to be carried, as I was telling before, on multiple level by multiple people. So it's going to be pretty unhackable, basically, as a process itself.
Okay, understood. And if any validator doesn't want to give any opinion on any dispute, could be several reasons. He may not understand the native language in which the buyers and the sellers are making a deal with one another. So, can they pass this validation to any other validator, for example, native validator?
Well, it's something that we can consider eventually in future. We can create. You were mentioning some difference about the languages, for example. Yeah, we can create some pools for validators for specific countries. We as well don't have any specific local community for the moment, but we are planning to expand as well slowly. So yeah, everything can be work, can be refined, can be expanded. We can just be bigger and bigger and more specific as soon as we grow as a project.
Yeah, it will be helpful for the validators to perform the assessment in their native language rather than the language they do not understand. So
Yeah,
I was thinking, I was thinking, will you also be offering a 24/7 customer service to the clients and the service providers?
yeah, exactly. Of course, the validators are picked up. Basically, can be picked up with a notification instantly. So you have 24/7 um, operation from the validators, and also we want to have a 24/7 operation from the staff and from the customer service in the office itself. So
Okay,
it's going to be pretty much always covered and pretty instant in the resolution.
understood, understood. Okay, so if there is no dispute between the seller and the customer, the funds will be released instantly, or it will take some time for the seller to receive the funds?
No, it will be released instantly as soon as you can confirm that everything was fine. You can just instantly release.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much for answering. Over to you,
You're
Glenn.
welcome.
For the question, Syed. Let's move to Aisha. You had a question for Bitscrow and Janito here. Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Glenn. I've seen on your white paper that there will be only 120 validators for bronze staking pool, 60 for silver, and 30 for gold pool locked for 1 month. I was wondering, will users be able to join staking pools on first come, first serve basis every month? And users who have been staking the last month, will they be able to enter the staking pool in the next month as well?
Yeah, we are just offering, as I was mentioning before, some limited seats. So this is at launch after the pre-sale. Consider we just finished the pre-sale on peak sale. So it was a validation pool for the first month where we plan to offer this kind of seats. But of course, if you follow the official graph, you will see some news. We are opening new seats. We are trying to reward with bigger APYs. So everything is working on. We plan to expand the seats and the rewards as soon as possible. So just take it as an indication for the moment, but it can be updated anytime.
Understood. And you are also planning on creating your own marketplace where service providers can offer their services and sellers can list products to sell. I was wondering, will any service provider be able to list their services, or you will be verifying service providers' experience, qualification, etc.?
Yeah, we're taking inspiration from, for example, some freelancing platforms. The other guy was mentioning the mm, the system of top sellers, best sellers, and something like this. So we are planning to build a complete freelancing and e-commerce platform where you can sell your services or products or whatever you want in any use case we can imagine.
Got it. I also want to know which cryptocurrencies will be accepted on your NFT marketplace, and will service providers and merchants going to have option of selecting cryptocurrency they want payments in?
Yes, we are supporting pretty much all the cryptocurrencies in the platform itself. With some API integration and stuff like this, will be pretty easy to integrate all the cryptos. So the seller itself can choose what crypto he wants to accept for his service, for its offer, and everything is worked inside the smart contract of Bitscrow. So we are just going to give the confirmation for releasing the funds if the transaction was good. But we can use pretty much all the crypto we want.
Okay, that makes sense. And will customers and clients be able to set some terms of the transactions so that they must be met before they release the crypto?
Yes, before the release, you can just everything goes through the process. Okay, the validation and stuff. If everything was fine, it's just an automatic release. If it's not fine, basically, in a couple of an estimation can be 24 hours for resolving the dispute with eventual security check from the administrators or the office team members. Will be uh, another instant release right after the validators give the confirmation about the transaction. So there are no mediators, there are no lock timing. There is something very automatic as a process.
Understood. Okay, last question from me. Will account information, activity logs, and transaction information will be encrypted so that users have full control of the data?
Yeah, everything is going to be stored on chain. So the validators that participate on the transaction, we're going to have also a very easy panel that can be used on multiple e-commerce or as well inside the marketplace itself on our official marketplace. So it will be very user friendly to use, and at the same time, it's going to be everything safe and decentralized and stored on the blockchain.
That's really great. Thank you. Thank you for answering.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you for the questions, Aisha. Let's move to Dennis. You had a question, being incognito at Bitscrow. Go ahead.
Yeah, Glenn, thank you so much. I have a couple of the questions to ask from Bitscrow team. Okay, whenever a dispute arises among both parties, if someone is judged as a scammer or case is against him, then will he have an option to apply for an appeal to reopen the case or submit some other proofs as well to have this dispute solved in his favor?
Oh well, it's not really possible because as soon as we got to a conclusion and as soon as the the funds are released after a conclusion is made, there is no way that you can eventually recover the funds that have been released. But anyway, some mistake can happen, and we as a team, we are going to have, of course, a sort of usage funds. We can eventually uh, listen to the claim to our clients. We can eventually reopen a case, see it again, and eventually giving a personal refund when needed. But from the blockchain side, not everything is going to be released, and as soon as it's released, you cannot uh, locked or go back on the decision.
Okay, understood. And consider a situation when person A requires a service, like if he books a hotel room, and if I understand it right, Bitscrow will lock the money of person A and he can release it after getting the service. But what if, due to some reasons, that person want to cancel this deal and don't require the service anymore? Will he get his money back in full, or he will be facing some penalties on his amount that he has locked for the service?
No, we don't expect to take any commission, so I would say everything is going to be refunded in full. Of course, everything is going to be developed right now, so eventual changes or eventual new decision can be made. We are just wondering all the opportunity, but conceptually, no, we don't charge any other strange fee on all the user account.
So, will there be any time limit before people can just cancel the deals they are doing with sellers or service providers? Then, even after that specific time, so that they won't be able to cancel this deal and they would need to pay the amount in full or in some percentages if they don't require the service anymore.
Yeah, there is no specific time. You can just ask anytime if you want to have a look at that. If you don't want to go through that specific transaction again, so you can just make a notification, and we are going to go through the transaction, eventually close that.
I think this will create a problem between both parties. Like, consider if someone want me to build a website or logo for him, and I've spent 2 days or 3 days for building a website or logo for him, and then he just cancel the service he was looking for me. So it would waste my time. So how will you resolve this kind of situation?
Now, of course, this is basically an escrow system which requires human interaction. So, for example, if you ask to close the transaction and you have spent 2 days working on that, of course we are not allowing you to do that. We're just going to pay the developer and the freelancer who have worked for the last 2 days. So it's something that we are gonna see in any case, in any specific case, and based on any specific situation.
Yeah, that's why I was asking before about the time limit, if a person can cancel the deal or cancel the service he was looking for. Okay, moving to my next question. I read on your roadmap about escrow service API release for third-party integration. I want to know if someone uses your API in their code and if they get a dispute on their platform, will you be handling or your validators will be handling those as well, or they can customize the API and let their own validators handle the disputes?
We at the moment we are planning to make it public for all the validators. So validators will be handling the dispute and the transaction coming not only from the official marketplace but also from this kind of third-party integration. For example, an e-commerce using the plugin or any solution like this. So it's going to target all the validators. Everybody will receive a notification if they want to participate in that specific transaction, in that specific dispute.
Okay, that's completely understandable. And I was thinking, you mentioned that you will be having physical offices in different locations, but I was thinking, will there be an option to resolve the dispute among parties by going and meet both of the parties physically? Like, if both of the parties and a validator belongs to the same location, and validator goes to both of the parties physically and resolve their disputes. Can they do that, or it is necessary that they resolve the disputes uh, virtually by both of the parties not knowing that who is gonna solve their disputes?
Yeah, the offices basically are another step we want to have for having real person working for us and for the validation system. So it's just a security check when validators are not around or when we have to go through some an agreements and give a final review. We want to have those kind of system, those kind of office to be as in a real company and with some real members working in the operation for 24/7. So I hope it makes sense to you.
Yeah, understood. And will you be partnering up with any other advertising platforms where you can just advertise the services people are providing through your platform, or if someone want you to advertise their services by paying some fee so that they can get more attention around different people from different platforms?
Yeah, this is what we want. We want to have the opportunity to be used on all the platform. So it's going to be worldwide and a sort of big marketing for all the integration we can spot using the Bitscrow extension.
Okay, understood. And do you also have any plan to also add fiat payments as people want, if they want to just pay the services in form of fiat, or get a money in form of fiat for the services they are providing?
Oh well, at the moment, no. We are just planning to release this as a crypto escrow service. So uh, we want to be used with all the crypto, but we're not planning fiat. We are just planning, of course, some stable coins like USDT or BUSD. So everything is going to be eventually through crypto and stables, and that's it.
Okay, understood. Thank you so much for answering
You're
my
welcome.
questions. That's all from my side, and thanks.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you for the questions, Venice. Let's move to Western Beast. You had a question for Ingenito here at Bitscrow. Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Glenn. Hi, Angelito.
Hi.
Okay, so what happens when a validator is frequently giving an opinion that is incorrect? Because I already saw the fact that when a validator gives an incorrect opinion, it's going to be reviewed. So, at what point will you determine that okay, this validator isn't really performing well because he's giving too many incorrect opinions? How will Bitscrow handle that matter?
Well, of course, we have all the tracking on the blockchain, so we can see if a validator was not able to find a single agreement during the last transaction he was managing. Well, in that case, we are going to have a look. We are eventually taking some decision, and we don't want to have bot. We just want to have real people that aim and claim to do the thing in a legit way. So I'm not sure about what can be the implication about this kind of behavior, but if we see that the validator cannot find a single agreement, we can eventually suspend it. Yeah.
Okay, okay, I understand that. I understand that. The next question I actually have is still on the validators. I thought that if two validators have different opinions, then the judgment will be carried out by the Bitscrow dev. And then a 3% commission goes to the validator that expressed the same opinion that the Bitscrow devs concluded with. What happens when none of these decisions match directly with what the Bitscrow dev concluded with? What happens then?
Oh, well, the Bitscrow dev, you mean the development itself? Yeah, it, it's gonna be as you can see on the roadmap. For example, this is what we want to follow. Also for the development itself and all the further steps we want to release. Um, so I don't know if you want to formulate better your question about that.
Okay, I'm going to circle back to the question. Maybe my next questions will be able to, get you a more proper answer.
Yeah.
Now, coming back, let's come back to Venice's question. You said that if a certain amount of time has been set on a developer, and the level, the project that developer will be paid for that time spent. Will Bitscrow be responsible for making this payment, or will the employer already have some funds kept in the escrow wallet which will be given to that developer?
Well, it's something that anyway is going to be handled through the smart contract itself. So uh, we as a team we are going to express our opinion and eventually push the release of the funds in a way or in another. Uh, in case of any mistake I was mentioning before, we are open to give the refund. Of course, we have some token allocation that will allow us to eventually sell and provide refunds. Or as well, we as a team member, we are going to see and check the final solution for any specific case. So I hope it makes sense.
Yes, yes. I think that does make sense. Okay, my next question is that I saw the fact that some item categories like watches will be reviewed by experts in that field. Can you tell us about this?
Yeah, we have some physical items category because we are planning to be as well a sort of e-commerce. So we are offering not only a freelancing service but as well as a small e-commerce, digital item, art NFT platform. So we are going to target every spot we can use for all the use case of a freelancing and the e-commerce platform. So it's gonna be big. It's gonna be very articulated. It's gonna cover all the spots.
Okay, so let me get something straight now. If I have an e-commerce center or I have a shop, you're going to bring one of your quality assurance checkers to come and check out my shop to ensure that items in my store are actually worth selling on the Bitscrow project. Am I correct?
Well, yeah, yeah, makes sense.
Okay, okay. So yes, yes. This is one way because what I was actually thinking was that after the person has made the order, that's before then you're going to send one of the quality checkers. So, how long will the verification of items in this category take place? And what
We want to provide a very fast solution. For example, we expect to have a solution ready in a couple of hours. In that specific category you were mentioning, for example, we expect, let's say, people providing a sort of documentation about the transaction, about the shipment, about the, uh, you know, the things on their side. So we expect just to go through the verification of that. Uh, Through multiple step of verification, and we expect to provide anyway a service that even in this case can be very fast and can be finished in, let's say, a couple of hours.
Yes, yes, the speed of verification is actually something because some people actually want, their items to be delivered as soon as possible. So,
Yeah, yeah.
what conditions will have to be met? What conditions will have to be met so that a refund can take place if the quality check doesn't meet that standard? Okay, based on the issue, he said that something is going to actually come through my shop, but then maybe one of the items maybe didn't really pass the test, and the person checking didn't really go through that item. What conditions will have to be met so that the refund can take place? Is the person going to have to file a report, and then you have to resend the quality checkers to ensure that yes, this report is actually accurate and the refund needs to take place?
Yeah, well, we want to ask also to the producer or the seller. Maybe we can have a sort of custom agreements for all the accounts you can choose. Maybe you need the product to be sent back. If they claim that the quality is not good, you still want to send them back, for example. So we're working on multiple custom solution, basing on all the needs from the buyer and the seller as well. We are just evaluating the terms of services, the policies for all the clients, and then starting from that, we are going to find a solution on the agreement from the buyer and the seller.
Okay, Injecto, those are some great answers. Here's my final question. What happens when Bitscrow becomes something big, so big that it passes
Yeah, I
thousands
imagine
upon thousands of transactions? How would you guys carry investigations when Bitscrow becomes so big that it carries thousands of transactions, and businesses? Would you guys also expand your team?
yeah, exactly. So as soon as we grow and we become big, in our expectation, we are going to have multiple offices, real customer service, working in the physical buildings night and day. We are expecting to have major pools of major rewards for all the validators. We expect to be a service that is going to be used worldwide on multiple countries, on multiple e-commerces and stuff like this. So we expect to have like the transaction on a daily basis, on a minute basis every minute. We expect to have the validators working as a real-time full-time job. Eventually the bigger transaction that goes through the dispute and they are releasing the 2%. Imagine a big transaction which uh, thousands of hundreds of dollars, for example. You can earn the commission by helping the resolution center for that transaction. So we expect to become big, to have a lot of people in the validators pools working as a full-time job and basically helping the community with the validation. This is what we
I can,
want.
I can, I can only imagine. I can only imagine how big it's going to be. You might have, the lawyers to handle the cases with the government and validation teams. Ingenito, I really appreciate the answers to my questions. Bisco sounds like something that's going to be big. I wish you guys the best, and I hope the project stays bullish moonward. Over to you, Glenn.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for the questions. Running out of time today, so maybe if we can do a recap on the Bitscrow project for anyone who's joined the AMA later on today, so that if they've missed the first half, we could just go over the Bitscrow project for anyone joining the call now. Did you get that,
Oh,
Ingenito? Just
yeah, no, I'm here. Sorry, I was looking if it was an interaction, so I didn't see any. Anyway, thank you, welcoming talk for hosting me. I hope everything was clear. I did my best for giving the introduction of the team, of me, of the project itself. We believe that Bitscrow is going to be something very big because we want to be the first decentralized protection system that can be applied all over the internet with multiple integrations. So, uh, thank you for your interest in that, and we just expect to be to do big things in the early future.
okay, great, Ingenito. Yeah, it's been great speaking to you today from the project. You're a great speaker for the project, and looking forward to the future for the team and community. As we always say, welcome to what's for research and educational purposes. It's not financial advice, but I always
Yeah.
recommend for the community investors, check out the website, the white paper, the official socials, and if you like the project, then yeah, you can get involved. It launched a couple of weeks ago, so it's contracts live. So yeah, if anyone's got any questions after the AMA, like I say in the main chat, we've got the socials there. Just head over there, and I'm sure there'll be someone from the team to answer your questions. Thank you very much, Janita.
Thank you guys.
Okay, I'll finish the recording, send a copy over for you to share with your community, and I'll send that into our main chat for anyone who couldn't join the call today.
Great. Thank you, sir.